going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. So today what I've got going on is nothing too complicated, just some basic work. So the 2013 Kia Forte of my mom's that I did the body work on and brakes a couple months ago, I'm doing now the front brakes. So this is once again to get her ready for inspection. The last one was canceled, so with the front brakes being done, we're going to get to see what happens with the body work that was previously done. That horrendous, horrible body work. I don't know who did that, but check the link up top if you want to know. So she complained that the brakes have been grinding. So with the grinding of the brakes, I'm going to take a look at them. So far, they don't look too bad. But what I'm going to do is see if they've basically exceeded their shelf life. I talked about it in a video a while back of reasons why brakes go bad, which I'll link up top and down in the description. So I'm going to go do the thing. If there's something worth showing, I'll pull them out. I'll bring you guys back, show you. If not, then I'll bring you back when the inspection has been finished. Let's do it. So I found something interesting that I figure you guys need to see. So as you can tell, these brake pads are brand new. This is the inner pad that goes against the piston. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there is some grooving and some scorching on the top part of the pad. So it's not grabbing down here. You can see it's making contact with the rotor, but the grooving up top shows that it's digging in. So if we look at the rotor, outside rotor, I'm not quite sure how well you can see that, but there's some grooving happening. It's very, very light. It's not bad right now, but if you were to take it to a shop, they would cut this down and reveal some fresh some fresh metal. But you can definitely see, like, it's bluing. It's not a bright polished look to it. And then on the back side, you can see how bad this is. So you can see the grooving that's been happening from the brake pad and the rotor not having a proper mesh. This you can clearly feel the grooving and some distortion in the rotor itself. So right here where my finger is, it's pretty high, and then as we come down towards the inner part of the rotor, towards the hat area, it kind of dips down a little bit. So there's been a lot more contact happening on the inside than on the outside. And then the same thing, you got a lot of black and blue going on here. So that tells me that one of two things happened. First and foremost, that when they put the brakes on, they didn't seat them right, or they never did like an initial shave and proper mating to the brakes. The other thing is, I know who drives this car. It's my mom. And she starts braking like 5 miles before the next car. So if you check out the video that I mentioned of reasons why brakes go bad, one of them is due to improper force when braking. So the brake pads never heat up, they never grab, they never truly bite. So they're basically just kind of like skimming the surface, and the heat never properly transfers. And then you get stuff like this where your brake pads look completely brand new, but the rotor is starting to go to crap because, you know, improper braking, improper grip, friction, whatever you want to call it. But since I do not have a machine shop, since I don't have a shop or a brake lathe machine, there you go, I have no choice but to replace the rotors and the brake pads and then go through the seating method. So typically what you could do is, depending on how bad it is, you could get some sandpaper, rough up your brake pads, probably take like a 1/16 of an inch off, and then slap them back on as long as your rotors are good. Usually that'll work. I would say that would work with like performance rotors, like slotted and drilled. But with solid rotors like these, you would want to have the top level shaved off and then put back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace these rotors both sides. I'm going to take some sandpaper. I'm going to rough up the surface of the new brake pads. Then I'm going to go on the seating process. So we're on the driver's side now, and I have a similar situation. We've got grooving on the interior pad, and on the outside pad there's a lot of glazing and grooving as well. This is much deeper than on the I'm sorry, reversed. The piston side is a lot of deep grooving, especially towards the top, and on the bottom there's like a ridge here where there's some contact but not enough to cause the pad to wear out. It actually feels like the top part is touching but not the rest of the pad. But then as you get to the rotor, you see a lot of that dark coloring, bluing. You can see right here that rigid line where no contact is being made at all, or maybe even just too much. I'm not really sure about that. But when I look, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there is some warping going on. So that tells me that the heat exchange that's happening when the brakes are being hit aren't right. So regardless, these are trash. So there's no cutting them or anything like that of the sort. Brand new brakes. So there you go. We have a set of rotors that was, yes, operated incorrectly. I'm not going to guarantee that they were put on wrong. But seeing how the rotors are warping, definitely improper heat transfer when braking. So it could have been too hard, maybe too light, I don't know, but they're warping. So I got the passenger side done. I'm about to finish up the driver's side. There is one more thing that I have to do. It's something that I kind of found is pretty regular with this generation of Kias, from the Forte, the Rio, even the Sports. So I'm going to finish these brakes and I'm going to show you what I mean. Alright, so I've had something that's been bothering me for a couple of months that my mom keeps asking me about. And it is her driver's side turn signal. So I checked this a couple of times and the bulb was fine. What it seems to be is the turn signal bulb socket. Voila. Kia part 92166 3K1000. For any of those of you who want to know, I'll put the link down in the description for where I got it off of eBay. And so these are two 10mm bolts. And then you just kind of wiggle this out of place. It sits a little weird. There is a plug back here. Pull that out.
2 hours later.
Come on. There you go. So over here, let me try and get you out the glare. That's much better. So here it is. You pull the headlight assembly out, and it's on the top corner. So the plug is here, and here's the headlight assembly bulb. Turns and locks in. Turn, pull it out. All right. So I checked this bulb. Both of the filaments are good, and what turns out that happens is pull, turn, lift out, is those contacts inside, they tend to mush down. And then this little side piece, I'm not sure how well, that little brass piece right there tends to flatten out. So you got to constantly go in there with a pick, pull them up, pull that out, and do the process over and over and over again. So I've done this process half a dozen times, and it's extremely aggravating. So what I'm going to do is, since I ordered a replacement to see if that will solve the problem, make sure the filaments are still good, which they are. Got a new one. Brand new cushion. The waterproof washer looks like it's in good shape. So I'm not really seeing anything wrong other than maybe just wear and tear. So there's only one way you can put this in. You can't get it wrong. Push down, turn, lock, boom. And pop that sucker back in. And again, there's only one way you can put it in. It doesn't, it doesn't have multiple ways you can put it in. You can try different ways, but until you get it lined up the right way, it won't go in. So it's dummy proof. So my personal feeling on why that keeps going bad is there's not a whole lot of airflow over there. It's right on the top left-hand side by the battery. So the battery heat, built up engine heat, brake heat, all that stuff. Like, there's not a whole lot of airflow in this corner where that bulb is. So I think the heat causes it to temporarily lose contact with the system. But that's just a guesstimation. Slide that back in. Make sure you plug your harness back up. And your 10 millimeter bolts back in place. So that was something that I figured you might like to know. Alright. So just in case I need parts, I don't know. Yeah, I should probably just throw this out. I'll keep the washer though, in case I need the washer. So I'm gonna put the key on. We'll see if that works. And then if it works, then I will take the car to seat the brakes. So I'm gonna reposition you over here so you can see the lights. So I've got 3 lights. I got the turn signal on the driver headlight. I got the side view mirror, and then of course your rear tail light. Alright, there we go. So it looks like it's working. Now the true test will probably be in a couple of days after it's been driven for a while to see if it continues to work. But I think that should do it. I think a new socket should do it good because the passenger side hasn't had a problem. The part was like 15 bucks. I kind of would say it's a dealer only part, but I guess since now the car is older, you can get it on eBay. I couldn't find it on Amazon at all. But hope you guys got some good information out of this. I know it wasn't too exciting of an episode. Nothing new here besides the turn signal socket replacement. Like I said, I will put that stuff in the description, including where I got the brakes from. So as always, Wrench Daily.